All right, Judge. So this was a Friday afternoon when they could not come to a verdict on the more serious manslaughter charge. Today, this is a verdict. This is a clear directive from this jury saying not guilty. Your take on them not having a hung jury in this part of this, obviously that was part of the problem on Friday. But this is very clear and direct. How do you think they came to this conclusion and why so quickly?
You know, I've taken hundreds of verdicts from juries, and I'm not always very good at predicting how they're going to do. I thought that there would probably be a quick guilty verdict, since there obviously were holdouts from the more serious manslaughter charge. Right. But the jury must have found that Daniel Penny obviously performed a positive good by neutralizing the young man and preventing him from harming everybody else, and that the manner in which he did this was not reckless, it was not careless, it was not reckless, it was not heedless of human life. The jury sent a message, if I may, to the people of the city of New York, which is, there's nothing wrong with defending yourself or defending your family or defending your colleagues or even defending strangers. Don't do it if you don't know what you're doing. This guy, Daniel Penny, was trained in doing it. He wasn't trained to kill, but he was trained, at least not in this environment, he was trained to immobilize somebody who's preventing a threat. You know, as for the protesters are going to be out there. They're going to be out there for a long time. There's a civil suit coming. The standard of proof in a civil suit is different in a criminal case. It's way up here. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt. In a civil case, it's a preponderance of the evidence. So picture criminal, 99% of proof. Picture civil, 51% of proof. We'll probably go through this again if there is a trial, if there is an insurance carrier. If it's just Daniel Penny, I can't imagine that he has the assets necessary to pay a substantial verdict.
So he's 26 years old. He's a former Marine veteran. He would have faced 4 years in prison for this second charge, Judge, criminally negligent homicide. The manslaughter was a heavier, it was up to 15 years for that.
Right.
Today, we're hearing reports that there was applause in the courtroom when this not guilty verdict was read. But Alvin Bragg, should this case have even ever been brought, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, that's a decision that Alvin Bragg was elected and hired to make. He doesn't always make decisions that seem to be the right thing to do. I thought the prosecution of former President Trump was extremely ill-advised. The judge didn't dismiss it. I thought that charging Mr. Penny with manslaughter was extremely ill-advised. The judge didn't dismiss it. This is what happens when you have a system where judges and prosecutors are popularly elected and their eye is on the ball of getting reelected, pleasing the crowd, rather than having their eye on the ball of doing the right thing under the law and under common morality. I don't know what's going to happen to Alvin Bragg. I think he's up for re-election in another 2 years. He's a Democrat. He has a strong Democratic base in Manhattan. He'll probably get re-elected if he wants the job.
What bothered me, Judge, in this case is that people were able to use it and infuse race into it. And, you know, it happened during the trial, and
Yes.
many say it was not proper. I saw on the streets today, someone came out and said this jury is showing New York City that they hate black people. I'm paraphrasing, but that's a messaging. This is a case that has now been able to be used as a political football and one to increase potential violence. We see New York City police officers having to don riot gear, even if it's precautionary. This is what Alvin Bragg did by charging Daniel Penny. When you so rightfully pointed out at the beginning of this segment, there are laws that protect people who are good Samaritans.
Yeah. Listen, I don't even know if this case would have been brought if the racial makeup had been different. You know, and the case should not have been brought for racial reasons, and the prosecutor should not have referred to him as that white guy. The government has a duty to be race neutral and not to take race into account when it makes these decisions, whether it's to prosecute or the actual conduct of the prosecution itself in the courtroom. In those two respects, taking race into account and using race in the courtroom, very, very negative on Alvin Bragg, and he may pay for this at the polls.